Hello, my name is Tyrone Gibson, and today I'll be talking about the impact of workplace stress on mental health and job performance. Okay, almost everyone experiences workplace stress at some point. A little stress can sometimes motivate us, but when stress builds up and becomes constant, it can be harmful. It affects not only the worker's mental health, but also how well they can do their job. In this presentation, I'll share examples from different professions, which are teaching, healthcare, and manufacturing, to show how stress can impact people in very different jobs. By the end of this, I hope that you will be able to see how workplace stress is not just a personal issue, it's something that affects an entire organization and their success. Okay, so what is workplace stress? Workplace stress can happen when the demand of a job is greater than the ability of an employee to handle them. There are a lot of reasons why this can happen. It might be tight deadlines, heavy work overloads, not enough support, or just the emotional strain from the job. Yeah, stress can push people to get things done, but when it's constant, it can become damaging. And long-term stress can lead to burnout, which can make someone feel completely drained. Yeah, stress can push you to get things done, but like I said, when it's constant, it can become damaging. And long-term stress can lead to a burnout, which can also lead to anxiety, depression, and make your performance at work decrease. A good example of workplace stress can be found in early childhood education. Teaching young children can be rewarding, but it can also be extremely demanding, especially when kids have behavioral or mental health challenges. In my essay, I used a study by 3 authors that found that many teachers in this field experience burnout. Training can help them, but the biggest factor is whether they feel supported at work or not. If teachers are left to handle stressful situations without backup, they're much more likely to burn out and struggle. This shows that while personal preparation is useful, real support from leadership is what makes the biggest difference. Healthcare workers also face high levels of stress, especially during moments like COVID-19. A study in Hungary by 3 authors found that mental health professionals working directly with COVID-19 patients had higher stress and burnout compared to those who didn't. And the stress wasn't mainly about the long hours. Many workers had to juggle family responsibilities, perform tasks outside of their training, and deal with little support from their managers. Psychiatrists were especially stressed because their jobs already demanded a lot, and the pandemic made everything even harder. This shows that stress isn't just about work overload. It's also about whether workers feel like they have control and whether they feel supported. Without those, stress becomes overwhelming and damaging. Stress also shows up in jobs that are physically demanding, like manufacturing. A study in Korea by 2 authors showed that over 26% of factory workers reported high levels of stress. The 2 main reasons were high demand and lack of control over their work. The stress was connected to depression and lowered productivity. The study also showed that companies needed effective ways to measure stress so they know when workers are struggling and can step in before things get worse. So whether it's teaching, healthcare, or factory work, too much stress and too little support lead to poor mental health and lower performance. Okay, so when we look at these 3 jobs, teaching, healthcare, and factory work, we can clearly see a pattern. Stress leads to burnout, poor mental health, and weaker job performance. And in almost every case, the problem gets worse when the workers don't feel supported by their leadership. I was kind of in this situation. It's not a direct connection, but I was working 2 jobs and trying to make sure I was paying, the bills that are a priority. And I also entertain, so I work for myself, so I travel around the States to please the crowd. But yeah, in the midst of me working my 2 jobs, I'm trying to make sure I'm paying for like travel fees and everything, and also like paying rent and bills and things. But I just overworked myself to the point where I woke up in the hospital bed. So yeah, that was a wake-up call for me, and I had to realize, quit one of your jobs so you can stay healthy. It showed me how serious stress can get, and it just doesn't affect your work. It can also affect your entire life and your entire health. The good news at the end of all of this and the stress is that there are ways to reduce workplace stress. But it's not only up to the workers to handle it, it's up to the organizations and managers that needs to take action. Some solutions include giving workers proper training so they feel prepared. And I can attest to that because at my current job, they trained me, and they didn't train me in all the areas. Like, they didn't show me the whole building. So when it was time for me to go there, as I was instructed to, there was no one to help me around. So yeah, that would relieve a lot of stress for some people. Providing access to mental health support, making workloads fair and realistic, communicating clearly so workers know what to expect, and creating respectful management where people feel valued. When these things are in place, workers are less likely to burn out and they're more motivated to do their jobs well. In the end, a supportive workplace is better for both employees and the company. All right, in conclusion, workplace stress is a serious issue that affects mental health and job performance in all kinds of jobs. From teaching to manufacturing to healthcare, the same pattern shows up. When workers feel overwhelmed and unsupported, stress harms both the workers and the organization. Ignoring stress does not work, it just makes the situation worse. But with proper training, fair workloads, mental health support, and good leadership, workspaces can become healthier and more productive. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Once again, my name is Tyrone Gibson, and